What's up guys, War34 here. Now we'll be tackling how to get to 830 horsepower. Right now, whenever you transfer, your cars will always stay on chapter 55. Whichever car or tune-up that you get, 820, 825, anything beyond chapter 40, you will always start at chapter 55. Not 54, not 53, not even 59 if that's what you're hoping. It will come out on 3 stages. One is basic tune, one is specified tune. Depending on the manufacturer, you will have a specific tuner. Like if it's Nissan, you get Yamamoto, Mazda, you get Oda. Other cars, you might get Rikako or the other members. And obviously, if you finish the last 2 stages, you'll get to Hell's Tune, which is done by Kitami. Right now, we'll be finishing up the Keisuke R35, and we'll tackle Legendary FC. If you look closely on the map, you'll see that it lands at Yokohama, so best you go on and around. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're completed story mode, you can pick the soundtrack. 1615 will be good enough, but we need extra power for the hit at Yokohama. But seeing as the goal is right across the Showajima Junction, 1615 is always our best bet. At least this one, the English is much better than it was back in Maxi 3DX, or even 3DX Plus. And yeah, because I completed this in 3DX Plus, you start off in chapter 115. And the number of wins you counted, the moment you finish 3DX, it will still be carried over. However, due to a new challenge, we need to delay the story mode for a while. If we can move this up to Wangan line, it'll be easy. At least you guys will be able to see what it looks like. It's just a guest car, so we'll go on the Wangan branching. There are 4 lanes on Wangan line. You get eastbound, westbound, and for this one, well, I was aiming for tail light, but ah well. $780 will be good enough, as you'll need the extra 2 power bars or 3 if you're planning to take the race back up to Yokohama. We'll literally be taking the road to Yokohama. We're not going to go straight up Wangan line. That way you'll see how you tackle the OE junction. The OE JCT is one of the crucial parts whenever you're planning to take from Wangan line back up to Daiba. So yeah, just a simple guest car, nothing to worry about. The only thing I'm worried about is the music. And if you remember back in 3DX Plus, boost is very strong, especially if you're racing against a guest car, given the fact that you're on full tune. So you should take that in mind. We'll see how high the boost can get up, depending on if our opponent doesn't hit the walls too much. In Hakone, the fastest you can get in front of a guest car is around 200 meters maximum, depending on the skill or the type of car that he's using. And given the fact that it's a handling machine, that may even decrease the chances in Hakone. But for the sake of Wangan, yep, we're going to be taking it up to Daiba. Then we'll be bringing it up to C1 Outer. Alright, here comes the junction. Decelerate and tap cut. The best thing you need to do is brake before entering, as even deceleration alone won't help. If you're planning not to brake on that junction, make sure you decelerate as much as you can. However, you should bring your gear down to gear 4 at least to get the acceleration boost on the exit. Honestly, I hate dark side style. It's too gothic. And also, other rules apply whenever you're battling. If you're racing up against a lot of triple S rivals, you will always, and I mean always, get heavy traffic. And honestly, I forgot that I was in gear 6. As you can see that the boost is already increasing. The boost is already decreasing at this point, given the fact that it's giving chances for the guest car to catch up. So yeah, no different from the boost back in 3DX or 3DX Plus, even that for that matter. Now hitting 8 kilometers, we'll be taking it up to C1. And this dangerous setup is gonna be stupid. So make sure you decelerate as much as you can. Because I'm pretty much doing this here with one hand. Normally you should be entering on gear 4 before you enter the corner. Don't attempt to adjust your braking whenever you're entering the corners. It should always be before the corners, because when you're braking, there's a high chance for your car to understeer. So keep that in mind as well. And whenever you're entering C1 in this setup, it's good enough, but every time you exit, you should always downshift to get that extra acceleration. Some cars, they perform well without downshifting, but I recommend downshifting if you're too scared of losing too much speed. Just to show you that I'm not fooling anyone. Yeah, that is me with one hand steering. So I got 3 kilometers down, and remember, guest cars have better power whenever they're far behind. You should always keep that in mind. If you're like the one who wants to end the race quickly as possible, you should always bring it up to a drag race, sorry. I blame Pedia. And whenever you go through traffic, always aim at the very center. Do not aim for the edge unless you're planning to get your opponent to crash. And now we're down to the last 100 meters. This is where boost already gets ignored. So C1 on 1813, it's not impossible. You can, your only problem is you need to increase your downshifting much, which is going to be one of the bad things that should happen when during a battle race. Because your objective is always to keep your acceleration up and whenever you exit a corner. Because the moment you lose a lot of acceleration, that's where your opponents catch up. That's where you're going to lose a race. So keep that in mind. I'll be cutting it right here because we'll be tackling story mode in just a moment. And also disabling battle mode.